There we go. Actually, I did put Fathom in as well. Where's my Fathom gone? Where did he go? Hang on. Let me get him in as well, because if I get him into the habit, he should come in automatically. Hmm. I don't know if it's because it thinks it's at 8 p.m. Oh, no, no, don't do that. Ah, what have I done? There we go. C- Is it coming in? Can I see Fathom? Where's Fathom? Fathom? Are you here? No, I don't think he's coming in. I need to change it because he thinks it's at 8 p.m. and he doesn't know. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, splitting headaches. Oh, there's Fathom. He did come in. Oh, I've just shut it, just cancelled his. Fucking hell. Now he's gone again because I just cancelled him. Never mind. Oh, technology. But yeah, splitting headaches, that's fun. Gum bleeding, because apparently I'm now producing more blood and some of it's making your gums. I don't understand the technical side of things. So I've got that as well. Uterus pains like you would never believe, but not like, I don't think it's not round ligament pain. I've had that for weeks where you cough and you feel like you've been shot. This is just like a constant pressure in my uterus that it cannot be relieved. Like, and you can't put a hot water bottle on there. You can't have a bath above like 0 degrees that feels like you're in a freezer. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, that's not kind. So I didn't know whether the workout today would be horrific, but it didn't actually make it any worse. It's indifferent. So, but apparently now the uterus is coming out of the pelvis. So I'm getting bigger. Anyway, right, that's that. I don't think any more are going to join in. So let me just bring my chat up. Right, where do I go now? Oh, by the way, if I start saying words with the end of sentences, the beginning of the next ones, just pretend I don't because I can't remember how to speak anymore. That's another thing that's happening. Um, right, share this one. Share. Make massive. Here we go. Right, so I want to talk about this is something that's coming up quite a bit. I feel like we've maybe come out of the that kind of January buzz, and I think we will start to see this. I know some of you guys are fighting for equipment in the gyms, and it's a bloody nightmare. And but I think we're kind of losing that initial post-Christmas. I'm going to be really, really on it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that motivation that's starting to wane out now, isn't it? But we need to kind of keep strong and we need to keep that discipline. So, we just kind of want to go through a bit of food noise, snacking, and bringing back that control. But I also want to say a massive shout out to Louise. She is now 15 kilograms down. I feel like I've forgotten days. It was either this morning or yesterday morning. But either way, that is absolutely incredible. That's over 30 pounds, which is amazing. Ali, 10 kg down, another one. That's another massive milestone. But then I also wanted to shout out these ladies. So Helen, Vicky, you know what? It made me laugh. Like I was trying to pull names together and I was going, right, I need to put like Louise, but I was like, do I put Louise T? And then I need to put Louise R. Then I was like, and then I need to put Vicky D. And I was like, no, because they're all Vicky D's. We have three Vickies and they're all with a D. And I was like, fucking hell, I can't. My brain. It's like, this is too much. So I thought, I'm just gonna write Dom and Daly and then we'll know. And Helen as well. So these women, and there will be more of you, by the way. These are just the ones that have come really top of mind in the last week for me. But there are a lot of you battling with it might be sciatica, it might be an ongoing injury, it might be some nerve damage. I've been talking to one of you guys today about nerve reactions. But you can either choose to throw in the towel and go, that's it. That's the end of my journey. I can't carry on. This is it. I'm done. Or you can work with us and we can actually start redesigning programs around some niggles or injuries or even timings as well. That's another conversation I've been having a lot this week, like to try and maximize workouts, but in a shorter amount of time, where some women have only got like 40 minutes and they just can't spend too long doing this. So the point is being able to adapt to your circumstances and not go, well, because I can't train, that's me out. And the reality is as well, if your goal is fat loss, then that piece, although yes, we really want it as much as possible. We really, really want the muscle building piece, the keeping that on your frame, especially a lot of the women we coach are obviously at the kind of age where we fucking need this on our bodies now. But we can still win in the nutritional area when it comes to fat loss because the gym or training from home, it's got no, it doesn't play a part in that. It's not the primary function, it's an aid. That being said, a couple of you guys, I think, are hoping for slightly faster results. So I kind of wanted to go through this. A pound to a pound and a half a week is reasonable. And I know, and it will be faster at first, by the way, because you'll always lose water weight at the same time. Well, you'll lose water weight, not really any fat at the end, at the beginning, sorry. Then as we go through, it's primarily body fat that starts chipping away every week. That's where we actually want to be. The water weight is kind of irrelevant. That's why it's going to move up and down around your cycle. That it will move as we go through the week. Like we're human beings, not robots. But a pound to a pound and a half is where we want most of you to be. Now, it'll be on the upper end of that if you've got a little bit more to lose. It'll be on the lower end of that if you're a little bit leaner and potentially coming towards that reverse diet phase. That's going to shift, like, because you are a lot leaner at that point and there's maybe fewer strings that we can pull. But if you really want to maximize this, and I'm talking maximize the speed of this, you stay within your calories, you stick within your macros, you do your 3 workouts minimum. Some of you guys are on a bit more than that, but the minimum is 3 workouts a week because you are burning energy still by doing those workouts. So it's still advantageous to be doing them. You're also building that muscle piece for the longevity. So again, that's going to burn more calories in the future. When we get to the reverse diet, it will allow you to live with more food freedom than you ever dreamed possible. So we want that for our future selves. But also those 10,000 steps a day. If you're hitting 3,000 and you're thinking, well, I'm not dropping as quickly as I'd like, that's why. There's strings that we can pull, but if we're not ticking all of the boxes, but we're expecting the speed of results as somebody who is ticking all of the boxes, we kind of have to go, okay, well, what's reasonable? Is that reasonable for me? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do all of those steps because I'm at 58 conferences this week. So, you know what? Fine, I'll just accept it might go a little bit lower, or I can't control all of the food piece, or you know what, I did hit the fuck it button this week. I've got to take responsibility for that, which is fine. But then obviously I can't expect that like really high end loss that I might have liked to have had if I didn't do those things. So it's this kind of thing. It's just a consideration to just be like, right, okay. Or again, if you're thinking, oh, why is it not as quick for me? But you might only get 1 workout in every 2 weeks. Again, we're not getting the same energy output as somebody that's smashing the gym 3 times a week. So just again, just to be aware. The other thing I wanted to talk about was managing injuries sensibly because some of you guys are not. You're not, or you're doing things to potentially cause injury. Okay, so there are certain things that we could do and we should not ideally do. So, for instance, trying to split your training sessions up so we're not training ideally on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday, as an example. Those back-to-back full body training sessions, they are going to start to put pressure on your body because some people have been coming to me with injuries and I'm re-looking over their programs and I can't understand what's going on. And then we delve into it. And what we're learning is that pressure where we're not having the rest days in amongst some of the training days, and they are training like on a really high caliber. So it's like, right, okay. One of the other things is women who took time off over the holidays, or there's been a lot of sickness doing the rounds across the country. Of course, there has been. And then what you've done is let's say, I don't know, I'm just going to make this up, but let's say you're, I don't know, in phase 5 of your training program and you got to the second week before Christmas, then you came back after Christmas, you had a 2 week gap, and then you upped your weights from when you last did it 2 weeks ago. And instead of actually coming back in gradually and slowly, you went to increase your load and you've not worked out for a couple of weeks. That's going to put your body under an enormous amount of pressure. The DOMs, at the very least, are going to be really crippling. But on top of that, in addition to, again, you are going to be putting yourself at massive injury risk because you're not taking into consideration that you've had a couple of weeks off and your body just needs to kind of re-stimulate again. It just needs to remember what to do rather than throwing yourself in. Gyms or home, you might be training from your garage or, do you know what I mean, a room in the house where you don't heat as much. Obviously, especially if you're working out, you might think I'm going to get really warm. But if you're not warming up, there is a warm up, and I honestly try my best to put it in everyone's and a cool down in all of the programs. If I ever forget, just do a search for warm up in the exercise library and you'll find it straight away. But we do need to be warming up our bodies. I also say we ought to be doing warm up sets. The stronger you get, you should be doing warm-up sets, which do not count as your trackable sets. So those of you who follow my stories, you will have seen this morning. I don't think you saw the bar. I didn't edit that in. I couldn't fit it within the story, but I did do the bar. I then did 20 kg. Then I put 10s on each side. So 40 kg. Then I think I put more 5s on each side. Only those final set I did actually are my working sets that I would log. All of the ones working up to that are just my warm-up set so that I do not cause myself an injury, okay? And that's not because I'm pregnant, that's because that's what we do. Full stop. Every single one of you, when we're getting heavier, you got to do those warm-up sets, okay? So there are plenty of ways that we can prevent injury. And again, especially if you're running in addition to this, you should really only be on a 3-day lifting program if you are doing extracurricular activity. Ideally, there's the odd one of you who I know can take it because you've been doing it that way for many years, Dina. But a lot of the rest of you, that wouldn't be advised, especially not if you're slightly newer into lifting. Like, again, we need enough time between sessions and recovery and all of this. But I just wanted to go through that because I'm noticing more injuries coming up than ideally we would like. Right, so food noise, cravings, twitchiness around the kind of snacky Sally, and I would say a lot of this is the snackiness at the minute. I don't think it's necessarily like portion control or kind of any of that. I think it's that snacky side of things. But it's when you feel like you're constantly thinking about food. What am I going to eat next? Whether you're eating too much, battling with cravings. But like I say, I feel like for me, it's more the cravings at the minute, or that, like I say, that chatter in your mind around food guilt. Should I, shouldn't I? There is no such thing inside of this program. Like, and ultimately, if you're going to do it, the one thing I would say is please just be accountable, log the fuck out of it. Because at least then we know. Because if you don't log it and we can see that your weight is staying the same or going up or doing backflips, we can kind of go, there's a question mark here. And then we're going to ask you about it anyway. So you might as well just put it in. And the other thing is, by putting it in and logging it, scanning it in and logging it, sometimes, excuse me, burping, can't stop doing it. It's a constant in my life at the minute. But putting it in, what that can do is make you see the numbers go up and go, oh shit. Oh God, right, okay, this is actually quite bad now. And it might just help you to visualize what's going on and help you actually rein it in a little bit as well. But normally in small doses, when it's really loud, a bit too overwhelming, and it can make that kind of journey a lot harder. So biological reasons. So why does it happen? Restricting yourself. When calories are really low, the brain heightens that kind of focus on it. So we want to make sure, and some of you guys still do this, I still see it going, guys, you've been given an allowance of X number of calories and you're only having Y number. There's a reason we're doing that level, because we want to be like actually making this sustainable and not restrictive. Hormonal shifts, again, they can increase cravings. So sleep deprivation actually can cause those hormonal shifts as well. So this is your biggest one for me. If you've got a lot of food noise, if you are really struggling with snacking and your sleep is shite, that correlation is enormous. That's the one thing you really need to try and work on. And I recognize it can be a lot easier said than done. And trust me, I'm right there with you. I'm in the thick of it. I had a shit night's sleep last night. So I do get it. But what that will do is automatically spike that grilling process. And it makes it so fucking hard to not snack and move back into those kind of because what it's doing, you're trying to chase a little bit of a dopamine hit. You're trying to chase that feeling of going, I just need something to keep me alive. And also, it's worse for you because you're in a massive dip because you're sleep deprived. Then you'll have something to fix that sugar. So let's say a couple of biscuits or something. It's going to give you a sugar rush, but then you're going to crash even harder again, and you're just going to end up on that all day long rather than actually having sustainable food sources with slow releasing nutrients. You're just chasing that sugar. And that sugar is going to make you crash 10 times harder. So you're really going to struggle to get out of that loop. But then you have to focus on the sleep piece. That's a piece that we've really then got to get right. So the psychological reason, so history of this as well. So the yo-yo diets, the good versus the bad food. So the sins, being taught that certain foods are bad for you, that you should not have this, or even as a child, like we have to look really hard at like how you were parented or how you're parenting because it's like a lot of parents and I was doing a bit of research on this today, but a lot of parents what they do is attach like certain food types as a reward system. And I know a lot of you ladies, when I do the initial consultation, when you come in, you've spoken about this. When we really wind back where the kind of the emotional connection to food came in, it often is that you were rewarded by this behavior. So you were given things that are usually very low in nutritional value as a reward. So then that's what you take through for the rest of your life. Instead of potentially looking at how else we can reward ourselves, it's always that thing, that snack, that treat, that whatever it might be. That's another thing that can really happen. And like I said, I can't get
Oh, good. You found them.
just gonna mute Sarah. Sorry. I don't know where I was going with that. Stress and emotions driving comfort eating. That's another one, a massive one, enormous. Do you know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of stress with the accountants in the group at the minute. I did mine today, I think. I'm gonna wait for someone to feedback on that, but I'm pretty sure I did that. But this is it. When they've got massive year end, it's coming up. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone that's self-employed or business owner or whatever, you have to do those self-assessment accounts. That those guys are crazy at the minute. Stress is going to be rife. So these are the things where we go, right, okay, how can I manage that without just turning to the food? Environment, constant exposure. So this is one, I was talking to one of the women the other day. They always have like biscuits and chocolates just outside of her office for people coming in for different consultations and selling services and all of this. So it's like this literally outside of her office. She has to walk past them every day. A lot of you guys will experience that if you work in an office. It's very rare that you find healthy snacks in an office. It's always going to be the things that ideally we don't want. Again, if you've got children, do you have loads of these snacks around? Have you got loads of shit left over from Christmas? And then again, it's still there, it's still in your homes. But it's not a sign of failure. It's feedback from your body or environment. So if you can start to listen to what's going on, you can actually start to fix this and actually start to move on from it. So protein, protein, protein. This is enormous one. And I want you all eating enough protein for me as well at the moment, because this is a struggle in this household for me. But it shouldn't be for you guys. Protein now, I think there's kind of very few reasons why every single one of you can't be hitting 100 grams of protein a day. If you're actively considering this, and genuinely listening to the guidance and the advice, protein is fucking everywhere. The only people I would slightly allow to consider differently is the vegetarians and the vegans. They eat a lot of beige. I'm eating a lot of beige. It is just harder for them to get it in, and not without supplementing it quite heavily through the shakes and different things. But for the rest of you, no excuses. And it is going to help stabilize that blood sugar, which is why we always say when you're choosing your meals, we want you to think about your protein source first. Where am I getting it from? And then you build out the rest of the meal around that. So for me, lasagna is, you saw I made it the other night. Obviously, it's got mincemeat in. That's the primary. And then I've just got a side salad. That's what I'm having with it. I did have some potato smileys. They made me smile. I was like, these make me happier. It's just potato in a different format, but they're smiling at me. Right, volume foods. I just mentioned, didn't I? Massive side salad. Do you know what I mean? That's what I did with my lasagna. I'm not deliberately trying, I just want to eat healthy and I can get salad in. So that's what I'm doing. But for you guys, fruit, high fiber, do you know what I mean? Like good, and this is, we talked about pooping last week. This is another thing. Like we need to be doing that. I don't care. Like whatever I eat for an evening meal, there will either be a salad with it or there will be vegetables with it. Even if I make a curry in the slow cooker, I will put a side of broccoli with it or the steamed bags that you get that you chuck in the microwave that are like you heat up the vegetables or peas. Even when I can't fucking eat, do you know what I mean? You've seen it. I've had chips and I've got a bowl of peas because I can't disassociate the ability to do that now because I've been doing this for so many years. To me, not having vegetables, even though I know my food is shit at the minute, not having vegetables is too alien. That's where you want to get to, where it's just second nature, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your kids are doing, whatever, you have those vegetables on your damn plate because they should be there. And it is good food hygiene to make sure we're doing that with the majority of our meals. Don't go too low on the calories. We talked about this, like extreme deficits, extreme food noise. We've all seen the research papers that have come out about the jabs and showing that within 14 months, women are, or men, it doesn't really matter, are putting the weight back on, and they're putting it on about the rate that we would expect them to kind of be losing it. So it defeats the object. Do you know what I mean? And again, usually that is an extreme form, and they're putting themselves into a deeper deficit with a higher dose than what they actually need to be doing because they want speed, usually because it's obviously it's an investment, isn't it? But it's a shit investment that turns to shit if you put all the weight back on again. You kind of go, cool, I just wasted my money. So that's what's going on with those guys. That's also usually what happens with the Slimming Worlds, the Weight Watchers, all of that. They're encouraging really low deficit. So you think you're winning, and long term, you're always losing. Hydration. So thirst mistaken for hunger. So how hydrated are you? Are you actually really parched and you need to have a drink in order to replenish yourself? And it can just take the edge off where you actually get a moment to think and go, right, okay, am I actually really starving or am I actually really stressed? I always think just stopping, having a glass of water and actually listening to your brain and your thoughts and going, right, okay, I'm really craving these biscuits, but why? Why is that happening? I'm just going to sit with my drink for a minute and I'm going to process. I'm going to take the moment in and I'm going to think, am I emotional? Am I stressed? Am I sleep deprived? Is it because my environment is putting them right in front of me? What's going on here? Rather than just going straight in for the biscuit. So I just think having a drink as well can slow you down in your decision making process. Sleep, we mentioned this, 7 to 9 hours is the studied amount of what we expect the average person to want as a kind of their levels. But it will help balance those hunger hormones. And like I said, for me, this is probably the biggest one. If you're struggling and you know your sleep is shit, then that's the first thing we've got to try and fix where possible. Not training fasted and topping up after training. So again, this conversation I have quite often with like individual women on the program, but if you train first thing in the morning, you want fast digesting carbs. So I'm talking like within 30, 40 minutes of waking up, fast digesting carbs, a nana, some rice cakes, maybe a little bit of peanut butter or jam or something on them if you want, but just something really quick. If you train a little bit later, it's got to be slower digesting carbs, and you could time that in around when you eat anyway, if that works. And then you want to be topping up after training. So you don't want to be absolutely going hell for leather, hitting PBs left, right, and center, and then not eating for 2 hours because you are just going to spike all of your hunger hormones. And again, you're probably going to end up going for quicker fixes, and we don't want to be doing that. It's a psychological tool, so label it. So it's a little bit like I was saying about that pause. and say this is food noise, it's not true hunger, that taking a drink just to slow you down for a minute to start to think, right, okay, let's label this in my mind. What actually is going on? Slow eating. So 15, 20 minutes a meal. So actually actively slowing down your eating. So I couldn't finish it, but I will. I've still got some of my dinner. And this is also the other thing, like if you are full, you don't have to carry on eating. Do you know what I mean? Yes, okay. Like I don't like food waste as much as the next person, but we don't have to punish ourselves into believing that it's bad to leave food. Do you know what I mean? Like if you are full, or that could quite easily go back in the fridge and I could have that tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? There's not enough there. It barely touched the sides, but that's the kind of thing where slow it right down. Like you don't have to smash off all of your food in 5 minutes. It's not how it has to be. Mindful swap, so not banning foods, but controlled portions. Some of you guys, I know you prefer to just ban the foods altogether. And for some of you guys, it does work. Now, we are a household where we can have pretty much anything in here. Like, we've still got, I think I spoke about it the other week, the 5 boxes stacked up in our living room. Celebrations, heroes, what are the other ones you get? Roses and quality streets, and then one is sweets, which I have eaten most of the sweets. But those 5 boxes are still stacked up in our living room, and nobody has gone near any of them because Thomas is on a cot and I don't really like chocolate. So I'm not going to eat something that I don't take any enjoyment out of. So do you know what I mean? That's not an issue for us. But if it's an issue for you, you've got to consider what the right option is. Does it go off show? Like ours are fully on show, just sat under a coffee table. But if that's going to trigger you, put the fucking things away. Or like we talked about, some of you guys have given them away. But we've just got to be mindful. Routine, planned meals, snacks. Again, the same for sleep as well. Like the more routines you are in life, I promise you, the better it will serve you. If you're going to bed and waking up at completely different hours, if you are having food at completely different times of the day, like your body can't get into a rhythm and you're making life way, way harder than it needs to be. So take that away from it and actually put yourself into a routine. And I know, like Victoria, for instance, at the minute, she's working on a new routine. Like she's desperate to be more of a morning person. And I'll be interested to see how that plays out as well, because apparently that's actually genetic. Whether you are a morning person or a night owl, it's actually really hard to like pivot, but we'll see how it goes. Environmental tools, out of sight, out of mind. We've just talked about that one. Stack the easy wins, not stock. Protein yogurt. Oh no, I do mean stock, sorry. So stock the easy wins, your protein yogurts, your fruit, your veggies, quick lean proteins. You know what I mean? These are the kind of things, keep them in. Like I bought a load of just pre-cooked chicken breast yesterday because I can eat a chicken salad sandwich for lunch now. So I was like, right, okay, we've gone up from just a salad sandwich to a chicken salad sandwich. So do you know what I mean? But that's so quick and easy. Now you might not want that. But buy things that like that takes me 2 minutes to make. Do you know what I mean? It's not taking me away from my day in any way. Anyone that says to me you couldn't meal prep something out of pre-cooked chicken with some like salad or something, you'd be full of shit. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so easy to make. Curate your environment, limit exposure, social media as well. Yeah, considering, right, okay, am I following people that are promoting a lot of this, or you won't usually see that at this time of year. I'd say everyone is still in that kind of healthy, but I am noticing the deals start to come out. Like you're starting to see discounts on different health things or trainers or gym wear. So it means that they're aware that this window is starting to shift. So they're trying to get people to spend their money on these things now. So just be mindful, telling those around you what you're actually doing as well. So you want accountability in your life. So like Thomas has very much told me, and I'm very much trying to, that's hard at the minute because I need the calories and he doesn't. So I'm like fucking trying to make a lasagna that someone can have for a cut when I actually need it to be full fat. I'm like, oh God. But this is it. I'm still helping him towards his goals. It doesn't matter that I'm a fitness coach. I'm just on board in his environment. So if there are people in your environment that you need to tell them. Move away from a perfect mindset. God, this conversation I have a lot. So much. And I get it. I really, really get it because you guys are high achieving women, okay? This is one of the hardest things. When you are a high achiever in life, when you can go into work, you can crush it, you can absolutely annihilate whatever project, whatever job, whatever thing you're doing. But then you come home and you hit the fuck it button or you slide on that, and it suddenly feels like you're a failure. And it's like we're all or nothing, type A women, where we're just like boom, 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 gotta be a success, success, success. And then when you feel like something's a bit harder, it's like, shit, I'm bad at this. I'm really bad. But we've got to stop thinking in these absolutes. We've got to start to think that actually we can, like, we can succeed in some areas of life and have challenges in others. That's completely normal. But two, it can take us time to come through what we've been through in life, everything we've thought we knew about food and all of these different things, or exercise. It could be overtraining or undertraining or whatever it might be, and having to relearn all of this. It's not going to happen overnight. It can take a little bit of time to get there. Reaching out to us, obviously, and being as honest as you can be, that's massively going to help. And if you could catch it before it happens, like I say, if you can have that glass of water, consider what's going on, and actually message us privately or in the group chat, because this is one of the other things I'm considering doing as well. We do these like amazing like Wednesday wins, and some of you guys are like, I have to silence a group chat because I'm struggling to fuck and it's not going right today or whatever. And again, we get it. I'd actually love to do like your big fuck it moment, or what, where have you fucked up? What happened? How did you get through it? Because I think sometimes I want to know the downs as well as the highs. Do you know what I mean? The lows, not the downs. That doesn't make any sense. But it's sometimes you want to know that other women in the group are human too. So sharing those stories can be really useful. So we might do that on Wednesday, like, or I was going to say Friday fails, but I don't really want it to be on like check-in day. That's a bit of a like juxtaposition that's probably a little bit too much. Where are we? Click. So you can do this, by the way. So write down your biggest trigger for food noise. You will know it, by the way, or by all means, if you want to share it in the chat, you'll know what triggers you. You will know. Is it more to do with children and the things that they're having? Is it more to do with your evenings, weekends, needing that glass of wine to feel like you can calm down? Is it more to do with working from home or stress or big projects due? Like all of these things, again, really, really normal. And then what strategy do you think would actually help you to fix that? And I honestly, my big ones are the sleep, looking at the sleep as much as possible, but also that grabbing a glass of water to just take in the moment and just exist before you act, just to kind of go, right, okay, what's going on here? And actually learning, really, really advantageous. So you're not failing. Food noise is normal and it's not a sign of failure. And you can quieten it by addressing that biological, psychological, and those environmental factors. It's not about silencing it completely. Excuse me, it's about turning the volume down so that you feel like you're back in the driving seat, so that you can control what's going on and not the cravings controlling you. So I'm not failing. This is just food noise, and I have the tools to manage it. That's the kind of mantra that we want you guys to have. So let me uh stop sharing that. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, what buttons do I press? Fuck up Fridays. There you go. I like that. I think that's quite funny. Might just have to do it on a Friday and hope everyone's just checked in by 9 and then do it. And Kat and I just won't be able to pay much attention to what's going on, but it's not for us. It's for you guys to see kind of what other people have experienced in the program. And it doesn't have to be what's happening right now. It could be weeks ago, months ago, whatever. Triggers are mainly in the evening for me, always sugar, often emotionally hormones is another one. A massive correlation between like anyone that's got a an organic cycle and your hormones. So if you know your period is incoming, It's usually a few days before that can be another window to try and go, oh, but if we know this, we can kind of try and do our best to control it. Or we might think, right, you know what, I'm going to get something that's going to be my little bit of a treat, or I know I need to build that in to make sure that I can fit that within my allowance. But yeah, really, really normal with all of those things, really. So yeah, and you're definitely not on your own. Right, does anyone have any shares, any questions that they want about that food noise, about injuries, anything we've covered tonight, or anything in general whatsoever? Anything at all? Form checks, anything you guys want to go through? Don't all shout at once. It's like the dogs, weirdly. I've called like the walkies time like a few times lately, and because it's raining, they kind of go, yeah. Like, don't all come at once, like for God's sake. Like we can't just stay in, like we're getting our steps in, boys. Poor boys. I'm like, no, we're going, Hans. I don't care. I want to keep moving my body. Right, I'm assuming we're all good then. Well, obviously, if you need us, you know exactly where we are. You're all amazing. You're all fabulous. The group chat is thriving and amazing as well. So we love you all. Have an amazing week, and we will see you as we go through. Bye.